Welcome everybody, Strawgator here, excited to have you as we take our first steps into learning how to truly listen to music with deep listening. This is an introduction video to get everybody on the same level. In the following videos, we're going to be learning the techniques on how and what to listen for in our favorite music. But why are we here? We're here because we love music, we're inspired by music, we create music, or we want to hear it in a whole new way. In each episode, I'm going to be teaching you about techniques used by songwriters, producers, and engineers that are found in most songs, and how to listen for them. We're going to use my music and the mixes of each song so we can pick apart each aspect to listen to specific instruments, effects, and the use of space to learn why and how they're being used. And the goal is to train our ears so we can then go and listen to our favorite songs and build even deeper connections with them. I'm going to be using some terminology from my life spent as a musician and a sound engineer that I want us to all know before the first episode. Again, just to make sure we're all on the same level before we dive in. First off, have you ever noticed that the sound coming from the left side and the right side of your headphones or speakers isn't always the same? That's because of a mixing technique called panning. I can actually take an instrument, a sound, or an effect and place it anywhere in our stereo field from all the way to the left to all the way to the right. A stereo field just refers to sound coming to our ears from two separate sources, like headphones. For headphones, let's think of it on a 180-degree plane. We can go all the way to the left, we can go down the middle, we can go all the way to the right, or anywhere in between. That's our stereo field. So, take a singer, we put them down the middle. It'll sound even on both sides, like they're right in front of you. Or you can take a guitar and put it all the way to the left, and you won't hear anything on your right, like it's coming from the left. And then take a violin, put it 45 degrees to the right, so it's mostly coming to the right, and you'll hear a little bit on the left. But that's what panning is. Another thing I'll be talking a lot about is effects. Now, there are thousands of effects out there, and we don't have time to talk about each one. But in each episode, I'll be giving more details about the specific one we're learning to listen for. Most of the time when I'm talking about an effect, we'll be talking about reverb, delay, distortion, or some type of modulation that changes the audio and the sound that's using that effect. So for example, a vocal typically wants some reverb and delay to really help it fit inside a mix. We use effects to make each instrument and vocal unique and enhance the listening experience. And like I said, I'll get into more details when we get to those episodes. Next, let's talk about balance. Balance has a few meanings, but let's start with balancing frequency ranges. Typically, our ears can hear from 20 Hz all the way to 20,000 Hz, and instruments each produce their own frequency range. For example, an electric guitar has a range from about 80 Hz to about 8,000 Hz. So, let's say we have a song where all the instruments have the exact same frequency range. What would happen? Well, we wouldn't really easily be able to discern what each one is doing, especially if they're playing at the exact same time. It would be muddy and crowded because they're all in that same frequency range. So we can pan them to give them some separation, but what we really want is a wide variety of instruments that all have different frequency ranges. Of course, we're going to have a lot of overlap, but that's why we use panning and effects to help separate them from each other. Now, another use of the word balance is how all the sounds and instruments that are playing at the same time support each other. So when we have drums, guitars, vocals, and so on, is each one complementing each other, and more importantly, the song as a whole. The balance wants to be so that the listener is focused in on the most important thing, usually like vocals or a guitar solo, but at the same time able to hear all the other instrumentation that's supporting it. Now, let's talk about dynamics. Dynamics is the overall level or volume of the song, and at certain sections or times you might want to lower the dynamics so it feels mellow and intimate, but at other times you want to raise it so it feels powerful and energetic. And one song might have a lot of different dynamic level changes, but that's what keeps you listening. For all the videos moving forward, I highly recommend headphones. Like I was saying, they give you that distinct separation from your left and your right, so you really get to experience everything a song has to offer. They also separate you from the outside world so you can focus in on sounds and where they're placed in each song. Remember, the goal is to build a deeper connection and understanding with our favorite music. And I know that was a lot of information, but you're ready to dive into the art of deep listening. So hit that subscribe button and look for the future videos where we dive into the mix and learn how to truly listen to music. I'll see you then.